So here's a document. Here's a document. This document was originally made by World Bank. This was a World Bank document, right? And Meher says this is only a white page. Sorry, there is actually text. I'm not sure if you are able to view the text or not, right? Um, uh, I see. I see an opinion about can't see practically. So Rinki, we are just coming to the practical part of it, and sometimes it helps to know a little bit about what we are doing. Of course, we can show a lot of these features and things like that, but it really helps to know and to helps to think about some of these things as well, right? So that when you are doing it the next time, what is it that you are supposed to do, or what is it that you can do for making the document better. So while I'm explaining, uh, the idea is to not bore you. The idea is to get your mind running and trying to think. So you don't really listen to it passively, right? The idea is to make you think about how these things could pertain to some of the documents that you've recently been working on, or some of the documents that you would work on in the future. Okay, so here's a document. Here's a document. So, if I were to look at this, just scroll through this document. Can you really tell me where one is stopping and where the other thing is? There's a table here, but other than that table with the text, can you really tell me where what is starting, what is going on, and things like that? It's really, really difficult, isn't it? It's really difficult to know where what has started or where what is happening. So how is it that I could enhance the readability of this particular document? I can do that by adding formatting to it, right? Now, how do I add formatting to it? One way, obviously, is to say that this one I am going to format in bold and size 14, right? So executive summary is going to be in bold and is going to be in size 14. So you look at what next. All of this is executive summary. All of this is executive summary. This is another subsection, subheading, that is just like an executive summary, right? So you select this word and you make it size 14 and you make it bold, right? So that's one way to do it. The other way to do this is, I have already described this way to you. You can paint the format. So you can pick up the format from here using Format Painter. It's turned into a brush icon, right? It's turned into a brush, paintbrush. So I'm here, it's a paintbrush right now. That means it's waiting to paste the format, and it does that. Now the question is, every time, suppose you have to repeat this many times, suppose you want to do that for table 2 as well. So how do you make sure that your brush stays and does not go away after just one single pasting? So for that, you just, instead of a single click on the Format Painter, you double click the Format Painter. Once you double click the Format Painter, now watch what happens. I have painted here, but the brush still remains. Can you see? The brush is still there. So I can paint this also on the same one. The brush is still there. So all of the ones that I need to do, the brush will remain. So now assume I'm done. I have no longer any need to do that. So now I can go back and simply click Format Painter once again to remove the brush. Okay, that's one way to make the Format Painter sticky. So this is a way to do formatting. This is a simple and a more basic way to do formatting, right? The other way, and possibly the easier way to do formatting, would be by using the styles on Microsoft Word, right? So there are a variety of styles which are there right at the top, and we can use a variety of those styles to make my document the way it has to be. So first of all, what are the elements that the document should have? Every document should have a title, right? Every document should have a title. So let me add a title. A title here would be a report on the capital market in Argentina. Okay, this is the title. Now, in general, again, title should be on the top of the document if it's a smallish kind of a document, but for a larger, longer document like this one, this is a 56-page document, title should generally be on one single separate page. So there has to be a separate page containing nothing but just the title that acts as a cover page. So that works better when these documents are being printed. But if you have a document of say 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of pages, then it is okay to have the title over here. Again, in general, titles are center aligned. Okay, but I was telling you a lot of business writing today is heavily influenced by American culture because Microsoft is an American product, and so defaults are usually American cultural practices. So American writing style is by having it on the left side. So irrespective of how you decide to do it, so the left side is more modern, but even if you want something more formal, have it center aligned. That's also absolutely fine. So now you know that this is the title and this is a subheading, right? So if you look over here, you have got a variety of styles available at the top. So this is the title. So I'm going to go to title and apply the title style. So you see, what are the various things it has done? It has changed the font. It has probably changed the font color also. It has added a border at the bottom. It has changed the font itself while keeping the family intact. So earlier it was Calibri. Now it has become Calibri Light. Okay, it has become Calibri Light. Why has it done that? It has done that because if you have Calibri and if you increase the size of the font, then it seems a little more heavy. But title, being the title, needs to have a larger font. So to give it the appearance of lightness, that's the reason why it has been changed into a Calibri Light. Okay, so this is something. Now, this subheading, I can choose any of them: heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, heading 6, depending on how my style looks or how I prefer. So let's see one by one. As I mouse over, I don't even have to click that. As I mouse over, you see it's changing, right? Maybe I like heading 2 style. Okay, so heading 2 style, I do, and I start doing this. Okay, now when I'm doing this, what is this? This is nothing but normal body text. This is nothing but normal body text. So it stays as normal body text. Again, what is the one that I need to do? Let's say introduction. Introduction, again, what did I choose earlier? I chose heading 2. Therefore, for the sake of consistency, I have to keep on choosing heading 2 for all of the subheading elements on this particular document. So it's always going to be heading 2 and a space. Okay, heading 2 followed by a space. Now, there are a variety of other things that you can do. There are a variety of other things. For example, there is one important point over here. This is a very important point. There are other structural issues that could affect the long-term development of the capital markets, ensuring CNB becomes a credible and effective supervisor. Now, this I want to highlight in some way. So I'm going to give it some sort of an emphasis. Now, what kind of emphasis can I give? I can give it a hard emphasis, or I can give it a more subtle kind of emphasis. So there is a subtle emphasis and there's a hard emphasis. I've changed the style so you don't really find anything very different, but one of them originally bold, the other was just identical bold. Suppose I'm quoting someone, then I can give it some sort of a stronger emphasis. I want to quote, and give it like really different look, right? So I can give it like a very different kind of look. If you do this on a blank document, you will find the original styles that Microsoft really had. So video is something, this title. So this was the original Microsoft kind of style. So titles, I want to just spend a couple of minutes talking about titles. Titles should typically not be very long. So no more than 7, 8, 9 words, right? So don't have a 14, 15 word title, doesn't work. Sometimes research papers, articles, they do have it, but otherwise in other contexts, it is not acceptable. Titles should always have certain words capitalized. Titles should have certain words capitalized. How do you do that? You do that by capitalizing each word. Okay, but when you capitalize each word, then even these kind of articles get capitalized. That is wrong. So you will have to again make that into lowercase. So what do you not capitalize? You don't capitalize conjunctions. You don't capitalize prepositions. Okay, for, in between, on, behind, or to, etc. You don't capitalize conjunctions like a, and, or, these kind of words you don't capitalize. So to will become small. You don't capitalize any article that comes in the middle. So a would be capitalized if it comes here, if it comes here in front. A presentation on, right? Then a gets capitalized. The main reason why, then the T would be capitalized. But if it comes to help prove the point, right? If it comes here, then the T will not be capitalized at all. Okay, so this is how the capitalization sort of works. Okay, so remember that about capitalization. Sometimes you have hyphenated words, right? So if you have hyphenated words, only the first word before the hyphen gets capitalized, after the hyphen does not get capitalized. So that's just something else to remember. So after the title, it is a good practice to have 1 or 2 spaces. Okay, so here 1 space is sufficient. Sometimes you may want to have 2 spaces. That's fine. Just try to give a different look to it. Now, if you look at newspapers, right, the title of the article would be a very brief, a concise, small summary of the entire article itself. Okay. Next to that title or under that title, you have got a subtitle. A subtitle is nothing but a smaller but a more expanded version of the title. So it's smaller than the entire text, but it's longer than the title, and it gives you a little more context to the entire article. So that's something which is a subtitle. Sometimes you have a title like this. So the main title is in 2 parts. Video, a powerful way to help you prove the point. Okay, if you have this, then there has to be a colon, and this A then becomes the start of the new part of the main title, so it will have to be capitalized. This still becomes the main title in 2 parts, and subtitle becomes something else. Subtitle is a different part of this. So this is a subtitle. Again, you can have different styles for the subtitle and so on. Now, suppose this is a quote that you want to really highlight. Look at the default style of the quote. So there is a quote. It's Calibri in blue color, in italics, and it brings to the center. And if you look at it, the layout tab marks have shifted to the middle. So that brings it away from the margin just to get the emphasis across. And it has also brought in borders top and bottom of it. There are also borders that have gotten attached at the top and at the bottom of it. So that just gives more emphasis over there. So you can just you can just take a look at all of these kind of, styles that are over here. There's subtle emphasis, there is stronger emphasis, there is intense emphasis. So intense emphasis and strong emphasis, the difference is intense will also change the color. Strong will just make it bold and make it italic. So that's strong, and intense will change the color. So subtle will just make it italics, strong will make it bold and italics, intense will make it bold, italic, and a different color. Right? Okay. So now you can also customize all of these, and you can have new styles that you want to have. This is a title style. is a title style. There are a couple of different ways in which you can customize this. One way to customize this is changing the styles that you want to have over here. Okay, you can change the style that you have over here, and then finally you can apply the style over here, right? You can just apply the style. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is go to the title style at the top, right click and modify. Okay, so modify. Once you modify and change the styles that are there, okay, and maybe I just want to change this. If I want to change anything else, I can do. Now, how long do you want this style to hang around? You can new documents based on this template have this style. That means after this, all documents that you start from the blank template will always start with this style. Okay, will always start with this style. And you add it to the styles gallery. That means it will show up over here, right? Or if you want this style only stay on this particular document, then you just say only in this document and click OK. Once you click OK, that style will show up over here. So depending on how you want the document to be, you can customize every single one of these styles, each one of these styles. Okay, you can customize all of these. I've also shown you if you've made a mistake. Suppose this is not your title, you've made a mistake. How do you clear all of this format? One way is to come back to normal. Come back to normal. So you select this and click the normal back. That's one way to do. The other way is to clear all of the formatting. So you go to that button and clear all the formatting. Another way to do that is you have this, right? You have this. You go back to, sorry, you go to this arrow, and from there you can clear the formatting. So you see all of the formatting styles, and you can clear the formatting from there as well. Again, from this little arrow, you can create a fresh style. You can create a fresh style, and you can apply the styles. So let's assume I will make a style ground up. Okay, so I want to make a new style called with Georgia. Maybe I want to have like a nice formal blue color, and Georgia size 11 looks nice. So this one, I go to this and say create a style. So it's going to create a style out of the formatting that I have done. Okay, what do I name the style? I name the style a formal body text. Okay, okay, right? So now I want this text also to be in that. So you see there's a formal body text over here. Okay, so I go ahead and I make this formal body text. Now when I have done this, I see that this one is no longer matching. This is no longer matching because it's in Calibri. So what am I going to do? This is intense quote. So I'm going to go to intense quote and modify. How am I going to modify? I'm going to modify it with Georgia, and I'm going to modify it with the color that I have chosen over there. Okay. Now this one also has these two borders. Suppose I want all four borders. Borders are an element that exists in format. So I go to format, and there is border. So you see here, the borders are defined only as top and bottom. Okay, it looks neat, but just suppose I would also want borders on both sides. Apply to this paragraph. Okay, apply to this paragraph, and let's do okay. Now you see this style, intense quote style, is actually an offshoot of the normal paragraph. So style is based on normal paragraph, and style for the following paragraph is also normal. Okay, only this one paragraph needs to be intense text. So the following paragraph also needs to be normal. This is because I have manually applied the style to certain things. So I can always say that after this, the style will have to be something else. Okay, immediately following this, the style will have to be formal body text, the style that I have created. That's also possible. So let's see how that would work. So this works. And now after this, I start typing something else. It creates that in formal body text style. Okay, and not only that, now if I make this one as the intense quote style, see what happens? It now no longer comes only with the two borders. It comes with all four borders on all the different sides. All right. Okay, questions. Questions. How is border appearing? How is border appearing? So border will appear with the borders. So I'll just show you borders. So that's where the border will come in. Okay, so you have these, uh, I'll just show you borders separately. Okay, I think that's something which is important. Um, how did this line come under title? That line came under title over there because it's a customized thing. So you can customize it as, right? So you can say my title will be customized. I will modify the title and I will say a border, only this one border alone. Okay, and I save that. So now let me put title. You see there's a line that comes at the bottom, right? It just depends on how you are customizing the style. So you can customize it differently. The default in Word, the title style does not include the line. I think older versions of Word included the line, but the newer versions do not include the line. How can I write a text within a rectangular box? There's a question from Shushanto asking, how can I write text within a rectangular box? Again, this is not text within a rectangular box. This is just text and a border added next to it. Okay, so you can have any of these. You can go ahead and add borders next to that. Okay. Um, Someone is asking how to add personalized styles. How do you add personalized styles? If you want to modify a style, you can right click and modify, or you can make the style over here, whatever way you want the style to be, and then say that this particular style has to be saved. Okay, so you can just create a style and you can apply that particular style. Okay, or there's yet another way. So you make this particular style the way you want it to be, select the text, then go to the style box and there is one down arrow, the second down arrow, go there and say create a style. Okay, so you can get create a style from two different places. As soon as you select, the hover tooltip will have styles. There also you can get create a style, or you can go from here also create a style, and that style will be created from this particular thing that you have done. Okay, so that's how you add titles. That's how you add titles. Okay, let me just check if the attendance link. I think the attendance link hasn't yet come. So as soon as the attendance link is there, I will let you know. So please don't worry about the attendance link at all. Okay. Right. So just one more thing about the document that you had shared last time. I noticed that some of you had added a page border. When you add a page border and you upload it to Google Docs, that page border sort of disappears. So, if you are trying to show some sort of special this thing, it's better not to put it onto Google Docs. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's about title, and that's about subtitles. So we've got how you want the title and subtitle to be. So the next things to take care of would be line spacing. So again, how do you just this thing before we move ahead? Let's go back to the original document we were working on, this one. Okay. So remember, your subtitle text should also be capitalized similar to the title text. Okay, that's just something to remember. Now, in many countries, like it's not really a rule in India, but in many other countries, like say for example in the US, important documents such as important business documents, important government documents, they have to be disabled friendly. They have to be disabled friendly. For example, when you make a document, you don't know, people of different levels of visual impairments might be looking at that. So you should not, as a rule, if you are trying to make a document disabled friendly or visually impaired friendly, then as a rule, you should not use color as the distinguisher. Okay, so there always has to be some other form of distinguisher. That's the reason why we're making a document, not only do we change the color if we are changing, but we also change the bold or the weight or something, right? So that if you look at it, this looks the same. This looks as important, irrespective of whether I'm having it in black or whether I'm having it in blue. So that's something. If you also think that your audience is likely to be older and therefore likely to have some sort of visual difficulties, then try and avoid very light colors like this. Okay, try and avoid these kind of color. Then a better color to use would be something like this, which gives a lot more of the contrast. Line spacing in general, for all documents, you will have a single line spacing. Okay, there is no real need for a double line spacing unless specifically asked for. So what asks for a double line spacing? Manuscripts that go for publication, they ask for double line spacing. Why do they ask for double line spacing? Because back when editors used to make editorial marks on the document itself, the spaces in between help them make those notes. So editors, they use pens with very, very fine points just so they could make edits in the small space. So double line gave them more space to make the edits. Now, of course, that's not needed, but that's just a convention that is required. And in general, it looks clean. It looks a bit too clean. So for a document that is just going to be read by the end user, that looks a little too clean. So do not put double space. Single space makes it a lot more readable. So one space is good enough. Then coming to things like, making lists and making bullet points, etc. There are certain times when the information that you are trying to have, that information is better organized as a list. If you look at this paragraph, right, this paragraph, the report is organized as follows: part 1, part 2, and part 3, 4, and 5. Right? Now, this is already organized as a list, even though it doesn't have bullets. A paragraph here, and I'm going to change this into a paragraph, and you see how it is. Right? Makes it very difficult to read. The report is organized as follows. Part 1 provides, suppose you were to do this further like this, makes it really difficult to read. So what are the ways in which you can enhance readability here? One way to enhance readability is this way. This is one way to enhance readability. The other way to enhance readability is by making this into bullet points. Okay. 1, part 2, and maybe parts 3, 4, and 5. Together is 1. So here you can still go ahead and make this in some sort of more readable fashion. This is something. Okay. So now there is another question here to think about. When should I use a bullet point, which is this, right? Any of the shapes. The other day we were making some custom shapes, so those are also saved here. When should I use a bullet point versus when should I use a numbered list? Okay. Now remember, A, B, C is also a numbered list. Right? Why is it a numbered list? Because A, B, C represents a certain hierarchy, represents a certain order. So A, B, C is similar to a numbered list. Okay. The only thing is about A, B, and C. The only thing A, B, and C. Just 1 second. Okay. So your attendance link. I'll just give you the attendance link, and I'll just also maybe pause for a couple of minutes. So your attendance link is here. So all of you could go ahead and just take a couple of seconds to quickly fill that in. Okay, I had opened the attendance links just to check that's working. There's a question from someone about how to add header and footer. So you can add header and footer in a variety of ways. You double click the space at the top and you can add a header. You double click the space at the bottom and you can add a footer. Right? That's one way to do it. There are a couple of other ways to do it as well. You know, Yuchit, as Nidhi was saying earlier, so far we've been taking attendance, the team has been taking attendance from the participants box of Zoom and from Zoom reports. But we noticed that there were people who probably they share a Zoom account with other family members, so they were appearing with a different name. Okay, and we had a lot of requests that I'm showing up on Zoom with this name, but my actual name is so and things like that. So we thought it might be easier for people to just have a separate attendance link. Okay, there's a question, Sajal, asking how to add a line under whole heading. Okay, so if you are trying to do this for a title, right? Just take a look at this. So you right click the title, modify the title. Okay, right click and modify the title, and you are trying to add a border under the whole heading. So that is under format. So you go to format over here, and under format you have a border. Click border. Now the border will give you different options. So what kind of border you want to have? A custom border. A box will make all four. A custom will just allow you to do whatever you want. You have a custom border of what type? You can have a solid border, you can have a very close dot border, you can have a close dash border, you can have a gap dash border, you can have a dot dash border, and so on. So you have a variety, double border, thick border, and so on. Suppose I want this border, but I want the color to be this one, and the width is 3 point. Right now, where do I want? It's a custom border, so I can have the border appear anywhere. Now you see, this is my paragraph. So this one gives me border at the top. Do I want it? Do I not want? This gives me border on the left. This gives me border on the right. I can have this also, or I want border at the bottom. So I have a border at the bottom and click OK. And now when I do this and make title, it was already title, so the border has appeared. So this now becomes the new title style.